Hello booktube, hello book friends. Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would pop on and do a quick book haul video for you. I've been, probably as you know if you've been watching some of my recent videos, trying to get back into my war poetry, war artists, war journalism or conflict journalism project. And I've been reading this book, which is the Virago Book of Women's War Poetry and Verse, which is actually a compilation of two volumes edited by Reilly. And I've been working my way through this, and I did a Poetry Thursday last week on one of the poets, Marian Allen. Read a couple of her poems, and then went into a bit of a rabbit hole trying to find a copy of her poetry anthology that was published. I think it was published in about 1918, if I remember rightly. Unsurprisingly, it's out of print. There isn't a copy on Project Gutenberg. There isn't a copy on the Internet Archive. I haven't been able to find a copy anywhere secondhand. I did manage to track down an electronic copy of it on a library website, which I can read, but only read online, so I can't download a copy and print it or anything like that. So I am going to read the rest of it. I just need to be in front of a computer or on an iPad or whatever. I can't download it and read it on my Kindle or anything like that. But reading this also sent me down looking at some of the other poets and what they'd written. Excuse me. And that then prompted a bit of a secondhand book buying spree, because I wanted to read some of the works by another one of the poets in here, which is a poet and a writer called Vera Brittain. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but I read a poem and thought, I really like that poem, and I might read it this coming Poetry Thursday. We'll see. But I thought, well, what else has she written? Then realised that actually she was the mother of a veteran British politician, Shirley Williams, who might not mean anything to anybody outside of the UK or even people who aren't particularly interested in politics. But Shirley Williams was quite a standout politician of kind of my childhood, so I was very aware of her growing up, and I think was still in Parliament by the time I got to 18 and could vote. But she might have been in the House of Lords rather than the House of Commons. She wrote a biography or a memoir of her experiences kind of before, during and after the First World War. This is Vera Brittain, not Shirley Williams. Vera Brittain wrote a memoir, which has been made into a film. Hello, Sam. Hello. And I ended up thinking, actually, I'd quite like to read the memoir. So I got a copy. Unfortunately, I could only get a copy of, probably because it's recently been republished as in conjunction with the movie, and the only copies I could get, which were in my price range at least, were the movie cover editions of the book. So got a copy of the Testament of Youth, which I haven't read yet, obviously, because it's only just arrived. So I'm quite looking forward to reading that as a connection to a war poet and writer generally. And then while I was looking at poets, I also came across another book. I think, as I've said before, I've been trying to look beyond war poets who were combatants, who are obviously predominantly male, and you know potentially didn't survive the conflicts that they were in, and across the different conflicts as well. And I've found a copy of War of Shadows, which is a compilation of um, women's British women's poetry of the Second World War. So I'm also looking forward to reading this. I haven't had a chance to have a look at it at all yet, other than just look at the index and see, and lots of names that I don't recognise, but also one or two that I do, for other reasons. So, for example, Barbara Cartland is in here, who is probably better known as a writer of romance novels. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that as well. And again, maybe coming back to that in a Poetry Thursday. And then as on the conflict journalism side, again, with one or two notable exceptions like Martha Geldhorn and others, there isn't a lot of writing that I've so far discovered by women journalists, or published as journalistic pieces at least. And I did find, while I was looking and trawling the internet, the American Women Report World War One, and this is again, I think this is a compilation of over 30 pieces of kind of reportage, and it includes journalists and writers such as Nellie Bly, who I've heard of, Edith Wharton, who I've heard of, Mary Robert Reinhardt, Alice Rowe, Peggy Hull, and Maud Radford Warren. None of those I've heard of before. So I'm looking forward to digging into that. I'm not sure whether it's, writing from the front line, writing from the home front. I don't know, but I shall look forward to reading that. And then on the artist side, again, these are both First World War, and most of my books on war artists are from the Second World War to date. So I'm kind of chopping and changing, and I came across this, which I think is a catalogue or accompaniment to a display on exhibition in the Glasgow museums, and this is Fred A. Farrell, Glasgow's war artist, and I mean, some of the pictures are just, drawings, I suppose, or art. It's just sort of, quite stunning. So there's a picture of a makeshift hospital ward near the front line, and I think I don't know whether I don't know anything about him. So there's a picture of battle scene in a house with a machine gun. They're just, I haven't had a chance to, so I don't know, haven't looked in detail about anything about Fred A. Farrell, and not a name that I'd heard before. So looking forward to finding out more about him. And then a collection of war artists as a kind of narrative of a group of artists by David Boyd Haycock, A Crisis of Brilliance. So this is a collection of stories about 5 artists. A couple I do know. So Stanley Spencer and Paul Nash I know quite well as artists. But then Mark Gertler, Richard Nevinson and Dora Carrington. I've heard of all 3 but know very little about them. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And again, this has got illustrations of some of their art. So yeah, look forward to reading that. So yeah, a nice little haul for you. So if you have been, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.